More than 12 million visitors, and government says the economy is feeling it. Tonight on our news, we'll tell you the record year for tourism, what drove the surge, and why officials say it's more than just a number. And from a power agreement to a new cruise port and a major airport project, the Prime Minister rolling out plans he says will jumpstart Grand Bahama's economy. But what does it really mean on the ground? Plus, it was billed as a major crime-fighting tool, but nearly 2 years after it passed, not a single case is made it to court under the Anti-Gang Act. Then in our news at 7:30.
Tonight on our news, the opposition leader is giving his take on a new power deal and cruise port investment into Grand Bahama. Stay tuned tonight for the details.
Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kendino Knowles. Tourism numbers are in and they are record-breaking. The Bahamas welcome more visitors in 2025 than any time in our history. Government says it's not just a statistic. It pays checks, jobs, and opportunity being felt across the country. The tourism minister telling Parliament today what's driving the surge and why the impact goes far beyond cruise and airports. For the third consecutive year, tourism in the Bahamas has delivered record-level performance, according to new figures laid in the House of Assembly.
In 2025, the Bahamas welcomed an unprecedented 12.5 million visitors, the highest total arrivals ever recorded.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Aviation and Investments Chester Cooper says his ministry's data shows that growth was not isolated to a single segment of the industry, but spanned both sea and air arrivals, driven by what he says was strong cruise demand, improved port operations, and new infrastructure coming on stream across multiple destinations.
Visitor arrivals grew 11.4% year over year, surpassing 2024's record and exceeding our pre-pandemic 2019 levels by more than 72%.
In his communication to the House of Assembly Wednesday, Cooper argued the significance of the numbers goes beyond tourism statistics, saying the impact is being felt in everyday economic activity across the country.
While some might seek to downplay the impact of these arrivals, Madam Speaker, they represent jobs and salaries, shifts being filled, inventory purchased, tours booked, taxis running, restaurants busy, marinas active, straw vendors selling, small hotels and Airbnb hosts earning, and Bahamian families feeling the difference across our islands.
Cruise tourism remained the industry's main volume driver, with the minister crediting years of partnerships with cruise lines, along with operational and port improvements made across the Bahamas.
Sea arrivals exceeded 10.6 million visitors, representing a 14% increase year over year, nearly doubling 2019's level.
At the same time, Cooper acknowledged that stopover tourism continues to face headwinds, from global aviation disruptions to weather and geopolitical issues, even as air arrival numbers held steady throughout the year.
Air arrivals, for their part, were resilient amid disruptions, with nearly 1.7 million foreign air visitors, slightly 1.6% behind 2024. But we note late-year positive momentum, including year-over-year growth in the month of December, with 1.1% year-over-year.
To put those figures into context, the minister noted that stopover arrivals in 2025 still remained above pre-pandemic levels, signaling a measure of stability, even amid ongoing pressures. Looking ahead, Cooper says the focus now, sustaining growth responsibly, with support for short-term rentals, major tourism investments in the pipeline, and continued efforts to improve quality and infrastructure, so that tourism benefits reach more Bahamians.
Reaching 12.5 million visitors is a defining national achievement, and we will not take it for granted. We will celebrate it.
Reporting for our news, I'm Kendino Knowles. And big moves for Grand Bahama and big expectations, from a major energy agreement to a new cruise port and the first phase of a $100 million airport project. Prime Minister Philip Davis laying out a vision he says will move the island forward. Our news anchor Megan Shepherd has more from Tuesday's press conference.
Following that press conference led by Prime Minister Philip Davis, journalists were only allowed to ask one question each. Well, we used that opportunity to seek clarity on a variety of issues. We asked Prime Minister Davis for his response to residents who feel the island is being neglected, pointing to an unopened resort, no completion of a new airport, and no construction of an announced well development project. Here's the Prime Minister's response.
We're talking about openings. Things do not happen overnight. And I do understand the frustrations and sometimes the impatience of the electorate who becomes impatient at times over delivery of some things.
Now, the Prime Minister also pointing to several signings of MOUs in the past, as well as international organizations commending the Davis administration for the work that they're doing in country. However, we spoke to residents on the ground who say they're not exactly feeling the benefit as yet. We put that concern directly to the Prime Minister.
Look at where we are today. When we inherited a country that was on the verge of collapse. Don't ask me. As a journalist, you go and Google the IMF report that I call them the medical doctor that comes in to look at our vital signs to see whether or not we are healthy or not.
And for those not feeling the growing economy.
Grand Bahama economic growth is the fastest growing economy at the moment in the archipelago. I accept that a lot of it may not have been felt as the way it should amongst the residents, but they cannot deny that Grand Bahamians are returning.
Now, back in December 2022, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper expressed optimism that a groundbreaking for the international airport would happen in the first quarter of 2023 and would be fully completed by January 2025. And now, 1 year after its previously anticipated completion date, Davis giving this new timeline.
Phase 1 is started already. That is started. Phase 2 is the remediation, the flood remediation, which will be going in conjunction with Phase 1, which is the actual commencement of the construction of the terminal building.
And the final completion date of all phases?
Well, from all accounts, it should be within the next 18 months.
Reporting for our news, I'm Megan Shepherd.
All right, thanks for that, Megan. And one of those announcements putting Grand Bahama's energy future under the spotlight tonight. Emera confirming this afternoon it is in active discussions with government regarding Grand Bahama Power Company, including a possible option to purchase the utility service provider. The company stressing those talks are still ongoing with no final agreement reached. In a statement, Emera saying it shares government's goal of delivering reliable electricity at a more affordable cost for Grand Bahamians, which it says is a priority that has long guided its operations. But Emera also making it clear Grand Bahama Power continues to safely and reliably serve customers and no changes are in effect at this time. The confirmation comes a day after Prime Minister Philip Davis announced the signing of a memorandum of understanding between government and Emera during his visit to Grand Bahama. We saw that in Megan Shepherd's reporting just now, but Davis says the MOU is designed to explore a new path forward for energy on the island with a focus on addressing long-standing electricity rate disparities and supporting broader energy reform centered on affordability. And despite that series of announcements in Grand Bahama, still no movement on the redevelopment of Grand Lucayan Resort, one of the island's most critical economic projects. Residents there hoping for answers during yesterday's press conference, but the Prime Minister offering no new timeline, saying only these things take time. Last May, government signed a $120 million heads of agreement with Concord Wilshire Capital. The deal, it raised expectations across the island, but nearly a year later, there has been no visible progress on the ground. Outside Parliament Wednesday, Free National Movement leader Michael Pintar challenged government's claims of steady progress, saying workers and residents are living a very different reality.
Workers have been complaining that they have not been paid. Even now they are behind on payments to workers. And most of those workers are now home. The hotel is without water. So the Prime Minister should not insult the people of Grand Bahama and the long-suffering workers by telling the rest of the nation, who he wishes to deceive, that all was well and they are on track with respect to the Grand Lucayan. And so, again, what is the plan with respect to the Grand Lucayan?
Meanwhile, government promising progress on Grand Bahama International Airport, announcing a Phase 1 $100 million redevelopment. The plan includes a new modern terminal designed to handle up to 500,000 passengers a year, with future expansion to 1 million. But the opposition says similar promises have been made before.
He's had different financial arrangements that he has announced and different stages he and the Deputy Prime Minister has announced. In 2025, they expected to have the first phase completed. They had funding from multiple sources, the UK Exim Bank, public-private partnerships, etc. None of those have panned out to be correct. He has not made progress on the airport, even though he has had 4.5 years. We have made more progress since Dorian and the time we were kicked out of office than he has made in 4+ years since he's been in government.
And police are working to piece together what happened in the country's 4th homicide of the year after a man was found dead inside his home Wednesday afternoon. The victim has been identified by family members as 42-year-old Jamal Ferguson, who was discovered at a residence on Daffodil Avenue. Police say officers were called to the home and had to force their way inside, where they say they found Ferguson unresponsive and pronounced him dead at the scene. Ferguson was involved in a violent incident back in 2022 when police say he was robbed at gunpoint and shot after going out for drinks. In that case, his stolen car was later set on fire and abandoned. For now, police press liaison officer Chief Superintendent Sharia King says details surrounding his death are still unclear.
Around 1 p.m. this afternoon, a co-worker requested a wellness check of the victim by police. Police came to the residence, where they gained entry by breaching the residence and discovered the victim, who is an adult male in his late 30s, and he was found unresponsive. We also later found out that he had stab wounds to the upper body. We're asking anyone with any information that can assist us in our investigation to please contact the police and provide that information to us.
All right, nearly 2 years after Parliament passed the Anti-Gang Act, not one single person has been prosecuted under the law. The Davis administration has long touted the legislation as a key weapon in the fight against crime, but despite its passage, the courts have yet to see a case. Parliament approved the Anti-Gang Act in April 2024, promising to crack down on gang activity with stiff penalties, including fines of up to $100,000 and prison sentences of as much as 25 years. Last February, Police Commissioner Shana Knowles said investigators were working on their first case under the new law and expected charges to be laid soon. 11 months later, that has yet to happen. Speaking at Tuesday's Royal Bahamas Police Force meet and greet, the commissioner confirming law enforcement has hit a roadblock when it comes to using the Anti-Gang Act.
No, we have not put anyone before the courts as yet. We are still in communication with the Director of Public Prosecution and also the Office of the Attorney General to iron out what we saw as a roadblock. And hopefully, once we can make the amendments, we will be able to proceed.
All right, we've got a whole lot more to get to tonight, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson, he is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Kindoon, and happy Wednesday evening, everybody. A cool evening outside. If you plan on having anything to do on the outside, make sure you take a jacket or a sweater. You're going to need it because it's still on the breezy side. 66 is our current temperature. Mostly cloudy skies. The winds out of the northeast at 18 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 65. Temperatures right now around the Family Islands. This is how we're shaping up across the northwest Bahamas. Grand Bahama Freeport, 64, 65 in Marsh Harbour, Abaco, 63 in Allenstown, Bimini. Then we pick up 66, Great Harbour Key, Berry Islands, Nicholstown, and North Andros here in the capital. Over in Governors Harbour, 67 there, and into the central Bahamas. Temperatures also pretty nice and comfortable. 68 in Kemps Bay, 69, Black Point, Exuma, as well as in Coburn Townsend, Salvador, Arthurstown, Kit Island, 67. Then we pick up some 70, 71 in Georgetown, Exuma, Deadman's Key, 70 over in Port Nelson, Rum Key. Southeast Bahamas, warmer still with 75 in Duncantown, Ragged Island, a pair of 72s. Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, Delectable Bay, Abrams Bay, 74. Matthew Downey, Nagua, and Providenciales, Tricks and Caicos Islands, you both share temperature right now of 76. Satellite radar composite. Frontal boundary now across the extreme southern islands, Tricks and Caicos, as well as the Inago area, but a lot of moisture still hanging out behind that in the form of some clouds. Didn't see much in terms of any sunshine today, so temperatures struggled to get into the 70s. We saw quite a bit of cloud across the most of the islands, the exception being Grand Bahama getting some peaks of sun, but we expect the clouds to remain with us for at least another day. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Coming up in sports, where does Jazz rank among the game's best? Wherever it is, not high enough. We're going to argue about it later.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
When I started in telecommunications in 1998, I was bored and overwhelmed because I said, this is the best kept secret in the world.
The Bahamas issued a call for a cable license.
So we were a startup, a brand new entity in a brand new country with a product that nobody really understood.
People didn't believe, it was difficult. Ingram said that will never happen.
They turned us down, and Phil decided, you know what? Well, we're gonna chart our own destiny, and we're gonna build our own network.
Once you started to hear about cable TV, it really didn't make any difference because your reality was, okay, we're going to have one more channel. And you didn't think it was going to have such an impact until you got it.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, from the teams you already trust.
It only takes a second for things to go wrong. Are you prepared? Don't become a statistic. Follow these simple rules. Leave early, obey road signs, wear seatbelts, invest in hands-free devices, and don't drink and drive.
Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. Okay, here's the cheat code for sports content. Even in the leanest of times, you can always make a list. MLB Network did just that, so we get to argue about the top 100 players in the league. I'll start here. Jazz should definitely be higher. Jazz Chisholm Jr. emerged as one of baseball's most electric players in 2025, earning the number 61 spot on MLB Network's top 100 players headed into 2026. A healthy Jazz put on a show. We'll look at it by the numbers. 31 homers, 31 stolen bases, second All-Star appearance, and a Silver Slugger award. Since joining the Yankees, Chisholm's impact has been immediate. Multi-positional versatility, career-high numbers across the board, and a World Series appearance.
Several Bahamian players took advantage of a unique opportunity provided by the Players Alliance. The Davis League is designed primarily as a showcase for unsigned and free agent talent, which brought together scouts, player development staff, and decision makers in a spring training style environment built for live game evaluation. Bahamian players included Deshaun Knowles, Chavez Young, Toby Simmons, Zion Bannister, Dante Stewart, Lucius Fox, and Tanaj Thomas, a group that collectively has major league, minor league, and international experience.
Different levels of basketball from Vegas to Philly, same results, big wins on Tuesday night. We get started in college hoops. Dayton Albury and the New Mexico Lobos had a dominant 89-61 road win over UNLV at the Thomas & Mack Center in Vegas. In the association in Philadelphia, VJ Edgecombe continued his all-around impact in the Sixers' 139-122 win over the Milwaukee Bucks at the Xfinity Mobile Arena in Philly. That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to our news at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as security cameras capture chaos in the Philippines. Authorities investigate a high-profile assassination attempt. Plus, gold soars past $5,000 as the U.S. dollar stumbles. And with stability hanging in the balance, CARICOM urges Haitian leaders to put people first. When our news returns.
It only takes a second for things to go wrong. Are you prepared? Don't become a statistic. Follow these simple rules. Leave early, obey road signs, wear seatbelts, invest in hands-free devices, and don't drink and drive. I'm Inspector Gerard Cum of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, reminding you that road safety is no accident.
It's more than a podcast. It's a movement. This is Breaking the Silence with Junior Clovis, where conversations we avoid finally have a place to breathe. Every story, every struggle, every breakthrough is brought to light, unfiltered and unspoken until now. Join us this Sunday at 2 p.m. as we confront the topics that matter, share real experiences, and change the conversation around mental health together. Watch, listen, break the silence.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having Business in a Box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Every week, one show drives the national conversation. On the Record. We challenge the issues, ask the tough questions, and dig deeper. We bring in the experts, the decision makers, and the voices that matter. Our discussions shape policy, influence change, and inform the public like no other. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Catch us streaming live on Facebook or catch up with your favorite episodes on our YouTube channel. The conversations that shape the Bahamas start here, on the Record.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. A mayor in the Philippines has survived a brazen rocket attack after suspected hitmen targeted his convoy in a deadly shootout. Officials say Mayor Ahmad Mitra Ampuchuan escaped unharmed when his armored SUV was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade. CCTV footage shows the vehicle briefly engulfed in flames as gunmen opened fire before fleeing the scene. Police say the mayor's security detail returned fire, killing all 4 suspects during a pursuit and recovering high-powered weapons. Authorities believe the attack may be linked to local political tensions just 2 months ahead of regional elections. An investigation is now underway. The United States dollar has slid to a near 4-year low as gold prices surge to record territory. Spot gold broke through the $5,200 mark for the first time, climbing more than 3% in a single day ahead of a key interest rate decision by the U.S. Federal Reserve. Analysts say gold is benefiting from a weaker dollar, pointing to the traditional inverse relationship between the two. The dollar's decline has been described as a crisis of confidence, coming even as President Donald Trump said the currency's value remains, quote, great. Markets are now watching closely for signals from the Fed on where policy goes next. And the Caribbean community sounding the alarm over growing turmoil inside Haiti's transitional government. In a strongly worded statement Tuesday, CARICOM said infighting at the highest levels of the Haitian state is complicating an already fragile political transition at a time when stability and clear decision-making are desperately needed. The regional body notes the mandate of Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council is set to end February 7th, but says efforts by some members to remove the prime minister have only deepened the impasse. CARICOM warning political divisions are playing into the hands of gangs as ordinary Haitians continue to suffer violence and severe deprivation. The group urging all stakeholders to set aside differences, reach consensus, and act with urgency and patriotism so that stability can be restored, elections held, and the focus returned to peace, security, and economic recovery. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was January 28th. Then in our news at 7:30.
Tonight on our news, the opposition leader is giving his take on a new power deal and cruise port investment into Grand Bahama. Stay tuned tonight for the details.
Plus a milestone moment for Grand Bahama, crossing 1 million visitors for the first time in decades. How tourism growth spread beyond New Providence in 2025 when our news returns.
Conflict doesn't have to end in chaos. Before it escalates, take a breath. Step back. Choose peace. Listen to understand. Respectful conversations lead to real solutions. I am Sergeant 3599 Johnson of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, urging you, let's talk it out, not fight it out.
From 2017, one show has set the standard for current affairs in the Bahamas, and that's On the Record, one of the longest running current affairs shows on RTV. We've been the place where newsmakers come to talk. We've sat down with leaders in government, cultural icons, industry leaders, and international experts. From breaking news to in-depth analysis, our conversation sets the tone for the nation. We've tackled the biggest issues on the planet, held world leaders accountable, and given voice to the people. From politics to culture, business to the environment, no topic is off limits. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Catch us streaming live on Facebook or catch up with your favorite episodes on our YouTube channel. 9 seasons strong, and we're just getting started. This is On the Record.
Too many suffer in silence, but silence only protects the abuser. Your feelings are real. Your safety matters. It's time to break the silence. If someone is hurting you, speak up. We will listen. We will help. I am Police Constable 40.
On this day in Bahamian history in 1933, Reverend Philip Ramming, author of the Bahamian Pledge of Allegiance and God Bless Our Sunny Clime, was born in Fox Hill. In 1998, Alfred D. Morigny, once tried and acquitted in the unresolved 1943 murder of Sir Harry Oakes, died in Houston at 87. In 2013, Bahamians voted against regulating web shop gaming and creating a national lottery in a national referendum. And in 2022, Reverend Dr. Charles W. Saunders, prominent Baptist leader and former Police Service Commission chairman, passed away at 91. If you want to learn more about the events that shaped the day that was January 28th, head over to rnews.bs. And of course, you can also find all of today's top stories there, and you can share your favorites right from the R News Bahamas Facebook page. That's going to do it for us in News at 7. Natalia Hall, she's up now. She's got the latest headlines. Natalia?
Thanks so much, Candino. Well, coming up, 2 government agencies team up to launch a door-to-door voter verification exercise. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight on our news at 7:30, Prime Minister Philip Davis made several announcements aimed at boosting energy, tourism, and the economy in Grand Bahama tonight. More residents weigh in on the Prime Minister's plans for the island. Plus, Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard is brushing off the Prime Minister's Grand Bahama announcements, calling them hot air. Pintard made the comments outside the House of Assembly this morning. Also,
the Grand Bahama Port Authority in a press statement released today asserting their regulatory control
We have the full details from that statement coming up straight ahead.
And later, Prime Minister Philip Davis introduced 2 major climate bills focused on long-term resilience and protection of lives and livelihoods. The story when our news at 7:30 returns.
Kendino Knowles here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the R News social media pages. And hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
In general, we are going to see persons, the vulnerable populations would be children under 6, especially those that are under 2 years of age, as well as our older population and persons with diabetes or asthma, COPD, any kinds of chronic diseases will also elevate your susceptibility to having significant flu-like symptoms. And so we want to just keep in mind we're taking the flu vaccine, we're helping to protect our community for the elderly, for the immunocompromised persons that are dealing with cancer treatments, et cetera, that may not be able to get it.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Well, first tonight, Prime Minister Philip Davis made several announcements yesterday aimed at moving the island of Grand Bahama forward as it relates to energy, tourism, and the overall economy. Well, this morning, we spoke to more residents for their feedback on the Prime Minister's plans for the island. Our Megan Shepard reports.
Most Grand Bahamians were tight-lipped this morning, reluctant to share their views publicly. However, some residents spoke under the pretense of anonymity, expressing cautious optimism.
It'll be good if it comes to fruition because so many things was promised and it seemed so promising, but then it always falls through.
I get faith in God. That's what I get faith in, So if it come true, it'll be good for the country. But whoever do it, it needs to happen.
I'm not impressed over the announcements that he made. As a matter of fact, both parties have had tenure in office, and there hasn't been any improvement in the economy.
Topping the list of concerns for many was the future of the Grand Lucaine Resort. Following the update from the Prime Minister, residents shared their thoughts.
Another rubbish, another lies, another building up hopes. I came under a parent who raised 6 kids from the casinos, from the hotels, and I'm 50, and my mom was able to send her kids off to school and university.
It sounds like fluff. Again, who's going to believe it? And even when it comes to voting, we sometimes seem as if we're pressured to vote on promises, but then you have so many persons are not even interested in registering because why are we doing it again?
It's almost election time again, and we have been told this before, and we haven't seen anything come to fruition, so we only could hope.
The Prime Minister also claiming Grand Bahama has the fastest growing economy in the country, a statement that sparked strong reactions from residents we spoke with.
The economy is booming for private investors, not Grand Bahamians, not citizens and residents of Grand Bahama or any other island.
Now, in addition to those specific announcements, these residents say there are a host of other issues that need immediate attention.
Nurses, teachers, police, immigration officer, custom officer. Nurses not getting paid.
We don't have a morgue. The hospital seemed as if that should be priority as well. And then also when it comes to our teachers, a lot of them are disheartened.
Everybody are there for themselves, but as we, the citizens, the residents of this country, need to step forward and take control.
One resident weighing in on the Memorandum of Understanding signed with the Mirror.
Now, if they are coming in to give us better rates and also maintain it as good as GP Power, then I'm fine with that.
And as election season heats up, many residents question the timing of the announcements.
To be honest, madam, it's so hard to really take all this in because you keep hearing and nothing has happened. So
it is a political rubbish. It is hogwash. And I think Grand Bahamians are conk.
Again, it's just a lot of words and we're supposed to be going on words. So no, I think it's because of the political season.
But despite those discouraged residents, noted attorney and former magistrate Rangan Johnson sharing this bit of optimism.
I'm sure our government is
doing a good job so far of the things that they have said we're going to do. And I'm not going to be negative. And I will say that hopefully it will happen and happen for the best of our country.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Megan Shepard.
All right, thanks so much for that, Megan. Well, the Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard dismissing Prime Minister Philip Davis's announcements about the developments in Grand Bahama as nothing more than hot air. The FNM leader gave his assessment of those announcements outside of the House of Assembly this morning. As our Joshua Williams tells us in this report, Pintard says he's not buying it.
The Prime Minister came to Grand Bahama with a lot of hot air.
While the Davis administration announced yesterday that the government intends to assume control of the Grand Bahama Power Company, saying this deal will bring consumers' energy rates in line with those of the rest of the country, Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard is not so optimistic. The Prime Minister told reporters on the Northern Island that the government signed a memorandum of understanding with Canadian power company Emera Incorporated, calling it a new path forward for energy on that island. But the Tribune newspaper reporting today that Emera's president and CEO Dave McGregor told employees there's no final agreement despite the signed document. Outside of Parliament, Pintard had this to say.
The government does not have a good track record in managing BPL in general, so I can tell you there's very little interest, I believe, or confidence that they're going to do any better than the power company, which in our view is not doing good. So if the power company, who we have a problem with at the moment in Grand Bahama, is not performing well, I believe that people believe the government will perform even worse.
Davis also revealing in that Tuesday Grand Bahama press conference that MSC Cruises, through its affiliate and development company, will develop a new cruise ship pier complex and berthing area at the Billy Key property in Freeport. The deal also includes new visitor and commercial infrastructure. Pintard pointing out that MSC already has a strong presence in Grand Bahama.
But MSC is already in the Grand Bahama market, and they're involved in multiple major developments, including, I believe, the shipyard. They are a partner already with Hutchison Whampoa. It's a known entity in the Bahamas that has economic might, and so we believe that it's very possible that they can do some things that are potentially transformative.
Pintard says he supports any plans that supports Grand Bahamians, but is calling for the Davis administration to be clear and transparent.
Listen, any project that has the potential to create employment and ownership for Grand Bahamians and better quality of service, we will support. We just need to understand the particulars, and we don't know the deals, and we don't know what the nature of the deal is, and so we are going to wait and see.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much for that, Josh. Well, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the regulator for the Grand Bahama Power Company, says there is no confirmed sale or finalized agreement involving the Grand Bahama Power Company at this time. In a statement, the GBPA acknowledged ongoing discussions between government and Emera, the utility's parent company, but stressed those talks are still preliminary in nature. As the regulator, the Port Authority notes that any change in ownership or control of the power company would require its consent. The GBPA says it remains focused on ensuring residents and businesses have access to affordable and dependable power, which is a critical step as major projects like the Grand Bahama Shipyard expansion, the Freeport Harbor redevelopment move forward. All major investments the GBPA has played an integral role in facilitating. Prime Minister Philip Davis now clarifying the status of the proposed redevelopment of the former GIN project in West End, Grand Bahama. While developers have signaled intent to move forward, the Prime Minister says no formal government approval or application has yet been submitted. The clarification comes amid renewed attention surrounding Coakley International, which recently confirmed it made a deposit of more than $2 million to the government as part of a purchase agreement. That agreement was shown exclusively to our news team. Now, when asked directly about the GIN project and its status, Prime Minister Davis explained where the matter currently stands.
I'm advised by the minister responsible for investments that there's been no approval. There's been no formal application for the project that is being mooted, and that discussions have been held and they are continuing.
After a record-breaking year that saw more than 12.5 million visitors come to the Bahamas, government says one island stood out above the rest, becoming the country's fastest-growing tourism destination. For the first time in more than 2 decades, Grand Bahama has crossed the 1 million visitor mark, a milestone officials are calling one of the strongest tourism rebounds in the region. Our news anchor, Candido Knowles, reports.
Grand Bahama is now front and center in the country's tourism story.
For the first time in more than 22 years, Grand Bahama's arrival has eclipsed 1 million arrivals, reaching 1.1 million at the end of December 2025.
The milestone comes after years of investment and recovery, and represents more than just a strong year on paper. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Aviation and Investments Chester Cooper says for local businesses, tour operators and service workers, it means more consistent activity and a busier tourism economy throughout the year.
Arrivals to Grand Bahama were also up 20% in 2025 compared to 2024. And more than 30% over pre-pandemic levels of 2019.
In his communication Wednesday, Cooper told Parliament a key driver of Grand Bahama's resurgence has been the rapid expansion of sea traffic, opening the island to the volume of visitors not seen since before the pandemic.
Sea arrivals have exploded in Grand Bahama with the opening of Celebration Key, with more than 90% increase in 2025 compared to 2024.
But Cooper says Grand Bahama's performance did not happen by chance. It was the result of what he says was a targeted strategy, improved access, and new infrastructure designed to bring visitors directly into the local economy.
Madam Speaker, this is precisely why I say to this honorable House that Grand Bahama is now the fastest growing tourism destination in the Bahamas.
And while Grand Bahama led the charge, it was not alone. Other family islands also saw strong tourism activity, suggesting visitors are increasingly looking beyond New Providence for their Bahamas experience.
Abaco too, Madam Speaker, delivered standout performance, recording its highest total visitor arrivals on record, just south of 520,000 visitors in 2025.
Cooper says these results confirm a broader shift.
Our overall positive performance in the Family Islands demonstrate a simple truth. When we invest in product, when we have access and partnerships, visitors do not only come to Nassau, but they also travel across the islands of the Bahamas.
Reporting for our news, I'm Candido Knowles.
All right, more updates from government. The Davis administration pressing ahead with a legislative push it says will strengthen the Bahamas' response to climate change. Speaking in the House of the Assembly, Prime Minister Philip Davis advanced 2 major climate bills he says are critical. Our Delvardo Emmanuel reports.
Climate change is not a forecast of the future. We are already living in the midst of it. And unfortunately, we have already felt its sting.
It was those comments that Prime Minister Philip Davis tabled the Climate Change and Environmental Advisory Unit Bill 2025 and the Climate Change and Carbon Markets Amendments Bill 2025 in Parliament this morning. From eroding coastlines to stronger storms arriving more frequently and with less warming, Davis says the cost of inaction is no longer theoretical. According to the Prime Minister, the Climate Change and Environmental Advisory Unit Bill 2025 is designed to modernize how climate policy is governed, consolidating responsibilities, improving coordination, and strengthening oversight across government.
Under this bill, overall responsibility for climate change and climate finance has been consolidated.
As part of the wider climate strategy, Davis also pointed to efforts to transform the country's energy sector, including expanded solar generation, while urging lawmakers to recognize the economic and environmental value of the Bahamas' vast seagrass meadows.
For too long, global markets ignored their value. And for too long, countries like ours paid the price for their oversight.
That's where the second piece of legislation comes in. The Climate Change and Carbon Markets Amendments Bill 2025 would update the country's carbon markets framework, putting stronger rules and oversight in place as the Bahamas looks to play a bigger role in international carbon trading.
There is a significant demand for carbon credits that represent genuine environmental benefit, and the Bahamas is positioned to participate in those carbon markets responsibly with safeguards that protect our national interests while generating significant revenue.
Reporting for our news, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
Well, cool weather conditions in the capital on this Wednesday. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and a happy Wednesday evening, everybody. Cool evening on the outside. If you have plans for the outdoors, make sure you take a jacket or a sweater. 66 is our current temperature, but under mostly cloudy skies. Northeast winds, we have a bit of a breeze out there at 18 miles per hour. Your feels like temperature is at 65. Satellite radar composite. Frontal boundary now parked across the southeast Bahamas with a lot of clouds and some moisture behind it. We're not seeing much in terms of any rainfall, maybe a sprinkle or two in some of those clouds. Grand Bahama got some peaks of some sun as well as Abaco, but clouds coming out of the Gulf of Mexico as well as the Southwest Caribbean will continue to plague us. And we do expect a more significant front to get in here by Saturday, Sunday time frame. So we're looking for some very cool temperatures during that time. We'll tell you more about that later on in the forecast.
Still to come in our news, with general elections approaching, the Parliamentary Registration Department has launched a nationwide door-to-door voter verification exercise. That's all coming up when our news returns.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
When I started in telecommunications in 1998, I was bored and overwhelmed because I said, this is the best kept secret in the world.
The Bahamas issued a call for a cable license.
So we were a startup, a brand new entity in a brand new country with a product that nobody really understood.
People didn't believe, it was difficult. Ingram said that will never happen.
They turned us down, and Phil decided, you know what? Well, we're gonna chart our own destiny, and we're gonna build our own network.
Once you started to hear about cable TV, it really didn't make any difference because your reality was, okay, we're gonna have one more channel, and you didn't think it was going to have such an impact until you got it.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, from the teams you already trust.
Ahead of this year's general elections, the Parliamentary Registration Department and the Bahamas National Statistical Institute have teamed up to launch a door-to-door voter verification exercise. It's a nationwide effort that's mandated by law and requires scrutineers to be deployed across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Abaco over the next 8 weeks. Parliamentary Registration Department consultant Jeffrey McPhee says the goal is to ensure the accuracy of the voter register and to strengthen transparency and public confidence in the electoral process.
The Parliamentary Registration Department, as a part of the continuous register, is required to somehow align the continuous register, which has been around since 2015. This is now 2026. A lot has happened with our data. We have that on paper. We have that on computers. But at this particular time, we need to know what's really happening with that information as it exists in the field.
BNSI Managing Director Dr. Jamiko Delaveau says they'll visit communities to ask brief questions that confirm voter information, such as names and addresses.
I think that the skill sets that BNSI has and the work and the mandate that parliamentary registration has is really important in helping to drive national development. It's also important in a sense of us being able to articulate how the Bahamas is moving forward. We're also able to capture some of this data to be able to make sure that we can give representation of the electoral picture in the country.
Coming up in sports, everyone in our field loves a good list. We get to argue about the MLB Top 100, Bahamian players get an opportunity in the Davis League, and an update from college hoops and the NBA.
It's more than a podcast. It's a movement. This is Breaking the Silence with Junior Clovis, where conversations we avoid finally have a place to breathe. Every story, every struggle, every breakthrough is brought to light, unfiltered and unspoken until now. Join us this Sunday at 2 p.m. as we confront the topics that matter, share real experiences, and change the conversation around mental health together. Watch, listen, break the silence.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having Business in a Box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Every week, one show drives the national conversation. On the Record. We challenge the issues, ask the tough questions, and dig deeper. We bring in the experts, the decision makers, and the voices that matter. Our discussions shape policy, influence change, and inform the public like no other. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Catch us streaming live on Facebook or catch up with your favorite episodes on our YouTube channel. The conversations that shape the Bahamas start here, on the Record.
Conflict doesn't have to end in chaos. Before it escalates, take a breath. Step back. Choose peace. Listen to understand. Respectful conversations lead to real solutions. I am Sergeant 3599 Johnson of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, urging you, let's talk it out, not fight it out.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. Okay, here's the cheat code for sports content. Even in the leanest of times, you can always make a list. MLB Network did just that, so we get to argue about the top 100 players in the league. I'll start here. Jazz should definitely be higher. Jazz Chisholm Jr. emerged as one of baseball's most electric players in 2025, earning the number 61 spot on MLB Network's top 100 players headed into 2026. A healthy Jazz put on a show. We'll look at it by the numbers. 31 homers, 31 stolen bases, second All-Star appearance, and a Silver Slugger award. Since joining the Yankees, Chisholm's impact has been immediate. Multi-positional versatility, career-high numbers across the board, and a World Series appearance. Off the field, he continues to give back through his foundation-backed Little League program here at home. Chisholm recently signed a one-year $10.2 million contract for 2026, keeping him in New York and setting the stage for a potential long-term extension.
Several Bahamian players took advantage of a unique opportunity provided by the Players Alliance. The Davis League is designed primarily as a showcase for unsigned and free agent talent, which brought together scouts, player development staff, and decision makers in a spring training style environment built for live game evaluation. Bahamian players included Deshaun Knowles, Chavez Young, Toby Simmons, Zion Bannister, Dante Stewart, Lucius Fox, and Tanaj Thomas, a group that collectively has major league, minor league, and international experience. The Davis League, named in honor of MLB star Eric Davis, is a key initiative of the Players Alliance, aimed at creating access and second chance opportunities for professional players who may have fallen outside traditional pipelines but are seeking an opportunity and visibility. Hosted in Arizona, the event took advantage of the region's proximity to MLB scouting operations and provided participants with a competitive, game speed setting rather than a workout-only showcase.
Different levels of basketball from Vegas to Philly, same results, big wins on Tuesday night. We get started in college hoops. Dayton Albury and the New Mexico Lobos had a dominant 89-61 road win over UNLV at the Thomas & Mack Center in Vegas. The Lobos improved to 17-4 overall, 8-2 in conference play, and led wire to wire for their biggest win ever over UNLV. Albury at 11 points in the win, and the Lobos conclude their road trip Saturday with a visit to San Jose State. In the association in Philadelphia, VJ Edgecombe continued his all-around impact in the Sixers' 139-122 win over the Milwaukee Bucks at the Xfinity Mobile Arena in Philly. Edgecombe stuffed the stat sheet with 12 points, 8 boards, 7 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal, and 1 putback that will be everywhere on the highlight reels. The Sixers return to the court Thursday when they host the Sacramento Kings. That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. Okay, so VJ got drafted to Team Vince. I changed my mind. I think this means he absolutely does the dunk contest.
Possibly, but we always talk about trying to get into like Hall of Fame stuff.
Right.
If Bill Belichick didn't make it in the first ballot, we're doomed in anything we want to do.
We are doomed in anything we want to do. But I did get my suit, so there's that. Back to the studio.
When our news comes back from the break, the cool temperatures are sticking with us, wondering what else we can expect as we move closer to the weekend. Greg is back with the answer when our news returns. Stay with us.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having Business in a Box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Every year, car theft in the Bahamas rises. Thieves are getting smarter and faster. Is your car a target? Compact vehicles are at risk. Don't become a victim. Simple steps can make all the difference. Lock your car. Invest in anti-theft devices. Park smart. Protect yourself. Stay alert. I am PC 4392, Trayshawn Ferguson. Stay vigilant. Report suspicious activity. And let's create safer communities together. Learn more by visiting theroyalbahamaspoliceforce.org.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous...
This is our news. Welcome back. Frontal boundary now across the southeast Bahamas with a lot of clouds behind that plaguing most of the Bahamas, and we are continuing with that throughout the night and into tomorrow as that moisture is going to stay with us. That front will stall across the southeast Bahamas and eventually it's going to weaken and continue to dissipate, but we do expect a reinforcing short of cool air mass to catch up with that in the form of a dry front, and that's going to continue to reinforce the cool temperatures we've been having for the last day or two, and we will continue that throughout the rest of the week. We expect a more significant front to be getting in here. That front is actually taking shape, or that storm system taking shape across the western portions of the United States. That should get in here by Saturday, Sunday time frame. That will bring us a big change in temperatures. So if you have those boots and those jackets, you may want to pull them out now, because Saturday night into Sunday, we expect the cool air mass to be plaguing us and invading us for a couple of days. Future forecast showing the moisture with that boundary near the southeast Bahamas, most of it staying out there in the open Atlantic. We still have some lingering moisture in those clouds moving across us, maybe clearing here or two, but of course, as I mentioned, the moisture will stay with us and we will continue with the clouds throughout the next couple of days. Boating forecast on the waters tonight to tomorrow, not a good one. Caution flying inside the islands with an advisory on the Atlantic side. Moderate risk of rip currents. North to northeast winds at 15 to 20 knots in the northwest and central Bahamas. 4 to 6 foot seas near shore waters, but building up to 5 to 8 feet in Atlantic waters. While in the southeast Bahamas, an advisory is posted for you guys down there. 15 to 25 knots, out of the northeast seas, rough 4 to 7 feet nearshore, building 6 to 9 offshore in northeasterly swells. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, we will continue with the clouds. The breezy conditions will remain, but we will continue with those 70s throughout the remainder of the week. We have a slight warm-up. That's on Saturday ahead of that front, but once that front comes through, knock those temperatures back down into the 60s. Nighttime temperatures will be in the 50s. Grand Bahama, the Northern Islands, we're looking at some 40s for you guys, so make sure you prepare accordingly. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
Remember, guys, to keep warm. And with that, we thank you so much for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening. Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.